Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rokah Kwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the Akim pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the world. Um, right now, I just showed you video footage or cut clips of the 2014 movie Godzilla. And if you're in this truth, if you're a part of GMS, you know where they got Godzilla from, and that's from Job 41, and Job 41 describes Leviathan, and pretty much pretty much mocks those who are America, because in Babylon, because they're the ones that are going to be trying to go against the Leviathan when it comes. They're going to be trying to fight him, like you see on Godzilla. And here we're going to start with Job 41:1. It says, "Canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down?" So can you catch the Leviathan? They're asking. Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Can you pretty much pierce the Leviathan? Will he make many supplications unto thee? And that word supplication pretty much means the action of asking or begging. So can you ask the Leviathan, or Salakia, will he make many supplications unto thee? So will he beg unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Prayer on 4 says, will he make an covenant with thee? Will he make a promise with you? Wilt thou take him for a servant forever? Wilt thou play him as with a bird, or wilt thou bind him for his mate for thy maidens? No, like here, right here, it says bird. Will you play with him as a bird? And you could play with a bird, because they're smaller animals. And it says, or will you bind him for thy maidens? And in Scarface, you see towards the end of the movie, he because he's prideful, he got all that money. He goes and gets him a tiger, and for his maiden, for that Edomite woman, and that's what it's saying right there. Will you bind him for your wife? Will you catch a Leviathan for your wife? And no, man, you can't do that with a Leviathan. Shall the companions make a banquet of him? So they're saying, can you make a celebration to him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Can you chop him up and sell him? Like in China and in Japan, they have those little merchant shops. Can you sell the Leviathan? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed iron and his head with fish spears? Lay thine hand upon him, remember the battle, do no more. Khan. So if you lay thine hand upon the Leviathan, man, remember the battle, do no more. That, because you ain't gonna have nothing else to remember. That's it for you. That's a wrap for you, because you ain't coming out of that battle if you go against Leviathan. Behold, the hope in him is vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? Khan. So in this they're coming out with the new Godzilla in 2019, and in the trailer they show they're having like a little UN meeting on Godzilla, and they're saying, because I guess there's more than one. They're saying Godzilla, they're putting their hope in him because he's the enemy to the ones that are more vicious than him, and it says, behold, the hope in him is vain. Khan. So if that, when the Leviathan comes and America's thinking that he's gonna help them, against the other militaries coming after America, no, he's not gonna help no one. It's the Leviathan's against everyone, all them 2/3. The only people who gonna be spared in that day are the 1/3 in their families. And it's going on. It says, none is so fierce that dare stir him up, and who then is able to stand before me? Khan. That's Yahweh saying, no one is fierce enough to mess with the Leviathan. Then and who then is able to stand before Yahweh? No one. Yahweh made the Leviathan, and that cuts that Yahweh loves everyone, because he don't. He made the Leviathan for people. For 2/3 and all the heathen, man. You know, he made the Leviathan. Leviathan is Yahweh's weapon of mass destruction. Of course, the 144,000 elect are as well. Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. Come on, and that's Yahweh saying, who debts, who does Yahweh debt to? No one. He owns every, he created everything, and everything under the heaven is his. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Gone. And that's like that's saying he's gonna bring him out. That he's gonna be out here trotting amongst the world. And it's saying right there, nor his comely proportion. That's like saying a lion. A lion. A lion is a beautiful animal that people like to look at. That's why they got them in zoos and stuff. And or same as like a pit bull. They're strong and they're comely. They stand strong, and they're nice to look at. That's like the Leviathan. He's gonna be strong, and he's gonna be comely. Very nice to look at. And going on 13, it says, "Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with his double bridle?" God, that's saying who can tame the Leviathan. No one. Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. Khan. So that's talking about his mouth, man. No one, how they do it with the alligators. Those dudes that get bit all the time, is they open the mouth, and for vainglory, they open the mouth and show his teeth, like saying, "Yo, I just opened this alligator's mouth." But no, you can't do that with the Leviathan. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with the closed seal. Gone. So his scales are so tight that there's no penetrating. His like on a fish, the scales are hard, but if you bend it, there's a little play in it, and you could see between the scales. You can't do that with the Leviathan. There's no, he's fully coated in armor. One is so near to another that no air can come between. Gone. That's talking about the scales. There's no play in the scales. They're all together. They are joined one to another. They stick together that they cannot be sundered. By his neesings a light doth shine. And that word neesings, it goes back to sneeze. So his sneeze, a light does shine. So when he sneezes, a little bit of fire probably comes out his nose. And his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. So he got little eyes, man. That's saying his eyes are when you're tired, your eyes are barely cracked open. That's how his eyes are. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. And that's where they get those fire breathing dragons, is from the Leviathan, man. They they used to breathe fire. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke as out of a seething pot or cauldron. And and a seething pot is pretty much a boiling pot. So out of his nostrils, smoke coming out. His breath kindled coals, and flame goeth out of his mouth. So when he breathes out, fire comes out. When you breathe in your hands when it's cold and you feel that heat, just imagine that enough to bring fire out. That's what the Leviathan can do. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. Gone. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves. They cannot be moved. So he's like a reptilian, of course, because he got scales. And like when a snake sheds its skin, how it's real leafy, and pretty much you crunch it up like a leaf. Not the Leviathans. The Leviathans is just some more armor for him, pretty much. They don't move in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone. Yeah, as hard as a piece of the nether millstone. Gone. And we all know what a millstone is. It's pretty much a big, dense stone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings, they purify themselves. Gone. So when he rise himself up, when he stands up, the mighty are afraid, and by reason of breaking, they purify themselves. So that means like back in the medieval times, and or even the samurai times in the dark ages, or back then they would purify themselves before they go to war. And the only reason they did that was to hopefully make it to the kingdom after that. That they be pure going into war, that they might make it out pure. That they might make it out alive. And goes on 26. They said the sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold. Gone. So if you try to fight him with the sword, that it's not going to be a sword after you fight him with it. It's going to be broken, smashed, and the spear, the dart, nor the harbinger. The harbor Gion, and that harbor Gion is pretty much that chain link armor. Gone. So that stuff's not gonna be there no more. It's gonna be crushed if you try to fight the Leviathan with it. He esteemeth iron as straw and brass as rotten wood. Gone. And esteemeth goes back to esteem, and if esteem, the definition to esteem is defined as perceived worth. So iron to Leviathan is as straw, and brass is rotten wood. It's pretty much worthless to Leviathan. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Gone. So they're gonna be shooting. Of course, when the Leviathan comes out, they ain't gonna be shooting arrows at him. They're gonna be shooting tanks and nukes at him, and that's not gonna turn him around, man. He's not gonna fear none of that. Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of spears. Khan. So these littler, the infantry that goes after the Leviathan, he's gonna be laughing at their fear, because when the shaking of a spear is the fear, they'd only be shaking because they're afraid, and that's only gonna make the Leviathan happy. Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mire. Khan. So let me see. The mire is pretty much like the ground. The like in a war zone, the mire would be like the field that they fight on. So he spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mire. So he's as he's walking through whatever he's walking through, he's bringing buildings down, and he's pretty much making the battlefield more dangerous than it is. And 30 going on to 31, he says he maketh the deep to boil like a pot, and he maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. Gone. So he's wherever he goes, there's bubbles, there's ointment grow, because that's how they used to make ointment back then. They would boil water and add things, and add certain plants and whatnot, and make ointment. So it's just pretty much saying wherever he goes, he spreads that. And going on to 32, he maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Gone. So wherever he goes, he's making light come through. Like, say, if it was daylight and he's in downtown Denver, say, as he's walking through, you're gonna see like when all the buildings are up, you wouldn't see it, but as he walks through, smashes, demolishes them, you're gonna see his path. And it says on 33, upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. Khan. So nothing on earth is made without fear but him. He's the only one Yahweh made without fear. Everything out, lions, all of them are made without fear, but not the Leviathan. Leviathan is made without fear. He beholdeth all high things. He is the king over all the children of pride. Khan. And who are the children of pride? That's the 2/3, man. He's the Leviathan is the king of them, Khan. And I just want to get on one more thing. Let's go to Amos 9:3. Khan. And this is showing who controls the Leviathan. It says Amos 9:3. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, and Carmel is a mountains out in Israel, that they're called Mount Carmel. I will search and take them out thence. Con. So you could hide. You could hide in the mountains, but Yahweh's gonna take you out of there. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. Con. And that's talking about the them those heathens that are going to be trying to hide from the Leviathan. You can't hide from the Leviathan. Yahweh knows where you're at, and he's going to send the Leviathan after them. Con. And Con, that's pretty much all they got. I mean, there's more scriptures on Leviathan, but that's all I got together. But the Leviathans, Yahweh's like like back in the old days, they used to use dogs a lot more than they do now. And like say a runaway slave, if one of them ran away, they would send dogs after you, and then they would find you that way. But that's what the Yahweh's going to do with the Leviathan. If you try to run from Yahweh, he's sending the Leviathan right after you, and Leviathan's going to find you. And that's pretty much all I wanted to bring out on the Leviathan though right now. And Yahweh Yahweh made the Leviathan, and it describes how vicious and comely the Leviathan is. And it says then how much bigger is Yahweh who made him. And that breaks that cuts Christianity. Yahweh ain't for everyone. He's only for the 144 elect and the 1/3 their families. But that's all I got on the matter. I want to say Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. I want to say Shalom.